Good. And my name is Kerry Marley, and I have been with the company for about 18 years. And when I moved from San Diego out to Wisconsin and started with this company, and started in sales, and then I went into the training program. At that time, the training program was a little different than it is today. So it's kind of developed over the years, but I've been doing this for about 16 years. And I left the company for a while. For about 4 years, we left, ran our own interior design business. And about 2 years ago, I returned. Well, during that time, I always did the training. They always had me come back, even during that time. Even though I wasn't working with the company, I came back and I did the training. So about 2 weeks ago, I've known for quite a while that we're going to return to San Diego. We're from there. My children live there. But we just weren't quite sure when and how and why and all the unknowns. But a window opened, and we've all had that in our life, haven't we? We've all had windows that have opened, and you can either look at the window and say, oh, a window just opened. And you kind of peek your head out the window, and sometimes it's frightening because there's clouds and there's storms and other times it's beautiful and you go, oh my gosh, I should jump. And you look down and it's about 400 feet to the bottom. And you say, but how do I do this? And am I insane? And family members and friends say, you know, I don't think you should do that because I looked out that window and it's about 400 feet down, and that's not a wise thing to do. But we've all had those times, haven't we? Have we had those times in our life when a window opens, and when the window has been closed, when you're in the room, there's been wonderful times, but there's also been what we call life. And sometimes life is difficult because we make life what we want to make it. And I am going to tell you who I am. I'm just leading up to it with the window story, because it seemed appropriate. Because some of you are sitting here thinking, well, Kerry, and you made an interesting statement. You said, why after 17 years would you leave a $100 million company? You're the corporate trainer. You're a top writer in the company. You write over $1 million a year. You make over $100,000 a year. And you're on the design program, which allows you to come and go at will. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind, Kerry Marley? And they're kind to you. Not all companies are. And we've all been tortured at different times. Believe me, I know. I'm 53 years old. I've been tortured. This company doesn't torture you. But isn't it fascinating that windows for us, many times windows will open. And when windows open, you have this opportunity, and some of us have taken them, and some of us haven't, and sometimes they've worked out, and sometimes they haven't, but it's all in the circle of life. It's all part of it. That's all it is. And sometimes we look back in hindsight and we say, oh, if I'd only done this or I'd only done that. Well, we can live in the past if we want to. So a window opened for me, and we'd been thinking about it for a while, wondering, and we knew the window had been open for a while. Windows don't stay open forever. Sometimes they close back down. So then you decide, and you know what's fascinating? We're all in the same boat. You all took that same jump when you left and came here, didn't you? A window opened. Is that right? Is that what happened? A window opened. Whether some of us had no work, or some of us had work, or some of us decided to go to work because we'd never worked before, we all have different stories. But isn't that what we all did? A window opened and we made the plunge. It seemed like 400 feet down. And even now as we sit here, we think, oh my God, I'm only getting $6 an hour and I have to do this for 2 weeks, and we have thoughts that are going through our head as far as how am I going to make the bills, and what will I do, and will I be okay, and should I take commission or should I take the hourly? Or will this be a good fit for me, and will they like me, and will I do well? Are these some of the things that are going through your head? So, can I be a part of your group? Because I'm going through that same thing right now. I jumped out the same window, people. So can you just say yes? Welcome, brother.
Yes.
Yes, welcome.
Yes.
You're with me. I'm one of you. I'm not some speaker that they brought in from San Diego who makes $500,000 a year. They flew me in on a private jet and they picked me up in a limo. And I'm staying at the Pfister Hotel. No, I'm at the Super 8. And my father, who lives in Sequim, Washington, says to me on the phone last night his parting words. He said, the Super 8. He said, I heard on the news that they're the best known for bed bugs.
They are, Kerry.
Do you know the thoughts that can run through a man's head when he's flown in and he's put at the Super 8? They hate me. They don't like me. They want to torture me. And I know what thoughts are all about, because I know each one of you. You don't know this, my friend, but each one of you have thoughts, and you have no idea if I can read them or not. You better pray to God that I can't.
I hope you can.
Well, I love that answer. Yes. Some of us are more intuitive. Have some of you been in sales? Who's been in sales before? Sales? Just raise your hand. Sales. Do you find that being in the sales world, that it causes you to be a little more intuitive or a little more sensitive? I think it's the nature. I think we're all, to a certain extent, a little bit intuitive, but there's certain careers that bring more of it out. If you sit at a computer all day and you aren't in contact with human beings other than at lunch and breaks and at dinner, you may not be as intuitive as you are if you're with the public every single day, and even more intuitive if you're on commission. Because commission causes you to try and weave through that dangerous journey so that you can take a person who you've never met in your entire life, and they say you only have 5 seconds to do the meet and greet. I don't know if that's true or not, but there is this period of discovery where you have a goal in mind for that individual who they've never met you. You are a stranger to them, but you are going to take them on a journey. Sometimes they give you their hand and sometimes they don't, and when they don't, you want to grab it and pull them and say, come with me because I want to get you to the cash register. And so it causes us to be a little more intuitive. Is this true? Well, I've been doing this furniture sales, since 1984. So I have a little bit more of intuitiveness. And sometimes it's just fun to play with. And I'll tell clients what they do for a living. They'll go, like I have leprosy or something. They'll go, oh my God. How did you know I was a pharmaceutical rep? Well, I just know. No. You don't just know. How did you know I'm a pharmaceutical rep? It came to me. Well, how did it come to you? If you sign right here, I'll tell you. But we all have thoughts. So I made the plunge just like you did. I jumped out the window, and I'm headed for San Diego, and I was so blessed. I felt as if I was a rock star when they said, Mr. Kerry, they didn't say Mr., they said, Kerry, would you be willing to let us fly you back to speak and do your training? I said, willing? Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea what that means to me. I've been doing this class for 16 years. I do this class because I want to change your life. A total stranger you've never met, who's one of the #1 writers in a $100 million company, who's been selling since 1984, that has learned things about sales and how to do certain things to be successful, and he wants to share what he has with me, and it's a commission job, and there's only so much pie, and if he trains me to be better, it'll become less pie. Is he not very smart? No, I'm very smart because I've learned that we're like boats in a lake, and as the lake rises, we all rise together, and if the water goes down in the lake, we all go down together. And I would prefer that the water rise in the lake so that we all go up together. And I know how it works. I've seen how Starbucks works. I know how Nordstrom's works, because when I'm in there, I feel different than when I'm in Target or when I'm in Walmart. Why is it that I walk into Starbucks and it makes me feel good? Is that true? Do some of you go to Starbucks and before you even get the coffee, do you feel good before you even go in? Those people are not getting, I don't know what they get paid. I can't imagine they're getting paid $20 or $30 an hour. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know if they get free coffees. I don't know what that company does for them. But I do know that those people are genuine, and when they say, welcome to my store, and how are you, and have a great day, there's something that just comes out of them that I go, oh, wow, it's delicious in here. Part of it's because of the 5 senses that I have the privilege of having. Some people only have 4 senses, some have 3, some have lost certain ones. For me, I have 5, so when I walk in, Starbucks is so smart. They have the sense of smell, which is natural because of the coffee. They have beautiful music, and they always sell the tapes, the CDs, in case you really are so enwrapped by it you would like one. So the sense of hearing. They have the sense of sight because the paint is wonderful, and the leather, and then they mix the leather and the fabric. Oh, and the fire pit, and the tile. I mean, everything is like, oh, wow, what? I would like to decorate this. So they hit several of the 5 senses, and the more of the 5 senses they hit, the more deliciousness happens. That's why if I can make you better, help you, it causes all of us to do better. So yes, I made the plunge out the window. You made the plunge out the window. I went to San Diego. They called and said, can you come back? We'll fly you back. We'll put you up in a luxury hotel. They still call it a hotel. Last night they called to make sure I got into my hotel. I said, yes, I'm in my hotel. It was perfectly fine. I was thrilled to be there last night because I could not wait to come and share and be a part of your life. Be a part of your life, yes. And I'm going to share with you this morning a thought. That's all it is. It's a thought. And for some of us, we will have heard this thought many times. And for some of us, it will be a new thought. But for some of us, I will change. For some of us, and maybe only one in the room, I don't know how many, but I'm going to be so bold as to say something. And it's not because I get to go back to San Diego and you'll never see me again. I've made this statement before. And when you make a statement, and you're going to have to stay in the area, you become accountable. Versus if you make a statement and you leave, there's no accountability because they can't find you. They can talk about you.
If you're right, you become a legend.
And if you're right, you become a legend. Yes, I'm not a legend.
You're a legend, Kerry.
You're working.
But so I want to say that for at least one of us in this room, I'm going to change I'm going to change your life today.